Welcome. Today's project's on the two habits health anxiety sufferers and anxiety sufferers do on a daily basis: mind reading and fortune telling. Now, I used to suffer from an anxiety disorder in my past, from health anxiety, and I had a very narrow view of the world. Very narrow. Like most anxiety sufferers, the thalamus in my brain became inactive. The thalamus collects all incoming sensory information from the eyes, ears, nose, and skin. Now, when this sensory information comes in, we integrate all of that information to form memories and our perception of the outside world. When trauma occurs and the thalamus shuts down, we remember trauma as a specific imprint. The image, the sounds, the smells, and the physical sensations, and not the story. So you could be walking down the road and all of a sudden a traumatic memory instantaneously pops up into your head and you feel the bodily sensations, the emotions, the same emotions you felt when that original trauma occurred. It's not the story you're reliving, but it's that trigger. It's that image that your unconscious stored when that trauma originally took place. Very interesting. The thalamus also acts as a filter. What does that mean? Well, as you watch this video, there's noises in the background, there's a clock ticking, there could be people in the next room where you're sitting, or you could be on the train, wherever you are, driving in a car, hopefully in the passenger seat. There could be cars going by, whatever. Your thalamus is helping you focus on the relevant information, and your thalamus is helping you block out all the irrelevant information, because there's billions of information all around you, but your thalamus helps you focus on what's relevant. So there's a guard up there, a guard blocking out all the irrelevant information. But when I had health anxiety and anxiety, there was no guard up there. My thalamus was inactive. So I was experiencing sensory overload every day. All of my negative thoughts were catastrophic, and I reacted emotional to every single thought. I was sensitized to the world around me, to people, to situations. There was so much incoming information. It was overwhelming. And it's overwhelming to a health anxiety sufferer and an anxiety sufferer. So with all of this negative information, negative thoughts coming into your mind, it's easy for a health anxiety sufferer and anxiety sufferer to overreact to all these negative thoughts, especially mind reading and fortune telling. Mind reading is when you're sitting in the coffee shop and someone looks at you, but you quickly look away and you think, oh man, they probably think my hair's ugly, or they probably think, my beard looks ugly, or, I shouldn't have worn this shirt. They're probably judging me. They probably think I'm too fat, or they're probably thinking I'm too skinny, and or whatever it is. You're mind reading, and you catastrophize and think the worst over that. Instead of flipping it and looking at it from a different perspective, oh, they probably think my hair looks nice. Health anxiety sufferers and anxiety sufferers always look at the most worst case scenario. They don't look on the other side of that coin. Maybe they're having a bad day, and that's why they look grumpy and they just looked in your direction. right? There's a million reasons, but anxiety sufferers always catastrophize and think the worst case scenario. And then there's fortune telling. With health anxiety sufferers, diagnosing yourself with a physical terminal illness, even though you went to the doctor, you got yourself checked out, everything's fine, you believe that, what's the point? I'm just going to die anyways. I have this illness that's never going away. Or, what's the point? I'm never going to find somebody to be in a relationship with. Or, I tried my anxiety recovery for a couple weeks now, and I just don't see myself progressing. So what's the point? It's like you're looking into the future and you think that this is going to be the outcome, right? But that's not necessarily the case. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to have that, panic attack at work today, and everyone thinks I'm going to look ridiculous. You're fortune telling, right? So instead of saying, today's going to be horrible, we got to look on the other side of that coin. Flip it around. Anxiety sufferers need to look at things from a different perspective. That thalamus up there with its floodgates wide open, you're reacting to all of those negative thoughts emotionally, highly, right? Highly emotionally. So it's that strong emotional attachment you attach to those thoughts, those specific thoughts, where you keep those thoughts alive. Emotions give value to your experience. Think about that for a second. Emotions give value to your experience. So anxiety sufferers aren't reacting positively to the physical sensations or the way someone looks at you or the outcome of the day. They're thinking of the worst case scenario. But what else could that sensation mean? What else could that person be thinking about when they look at you? Interesting. So anxiety recovery is about shifting your perspective and not attaching too much emotion to those negative thoughts that come your way. You have to have a guard up there saying, I reject that thought. Okay, Brad doesn't want to think that thought. He rejects it. Or I flip it around and look at it from a different angle. He's probably experiencing some tragedy in his life, and that's why he's angry. Or maybe that person's racing on the highway because someone's in the hospital, or he's late and he's extremely stressed out. Could you imagine how that man must feel, or woman, racing on the highway? They're probably stressed out of their minds. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. So instead of reacting strongly to those thoughts, we have to remember that emotions give value to our experiences. So if you start to attach strong emotion to positive, rational thoughts instead, what do you think is going to happen? Those neural pathways in your brain are starting to rewire when you start to react emotionally towards that strong positive thought. Interesting. So use these techniques and watch whether you're mind reading and fortune telling, because it is a daily habit for anxiety sufferers. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's video. And remember, do not let anxiety define who you are, and I will see you in the next video.